Hey guys, I'm excited. I have decided I am going to reread The Hunger Games. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I'm like, I want to read it right now. I think a big part of the reason why I haven't reread it yet is because like in my mind I'm like, that doesn't count as I read a book, but yes it does. It does count. Just because I'm rereading it doesn't mean I didn't read it. So it still counts as reading a whole book. So anyway, I figured what would be fun is to vlog it. Do a reading vlog with you guys of me rereading The Hunger Games and what my thoughts are. Hopefully I'll be able to like not think about the movie, because I hate that when you get like the actors stuck in your head and like the way they redid the storyline and everything. So hopefully I will be able to just like immerse myself in The Hunger Games. Hopefully I can handle it. Cinna, oh my gosh. I'm okay. I'm so excited. Why am I so excited about this? Like, it's ridiculous. I've had them for so long. I just can't believe it's taken me so long to reread them. So I gotta center myself, calm myself, so I can start reading this. And hopefully it'll be as amazing as I remember. Okay. Hey guys, I thought I'd do a quick check-in with you. I am on page, let's see, 186. So I am about halfway through the book. I still love it. It's still great. It's just such a great, easy, amazing read. I am looking forward to reading books 2 and 3 because like it's so much easier to remember, at least for me, the first book and remember just like all of the details. And then like I feel like further in the series, it's harder to remember all those details. So I'm very much looking forward to reading the next couple books. It is some work. It is some work to sit there and immerse myself in this story and not remember the movies and not remember the details from the movie and like just focus on this story only. But it's so good. It's such a good book. So I'm gonna get back to it though. Well, I'm gonna make some lunch and then I'm gonna get back to it. So, finished the first book, finished Hunger Games, read it super fast, which I kind of figured I would, so I flew through that. I think I already mentioned at one point, but the details that get left out in the movie, the book is always, it just always is better. There's just so many more details. I love how in the book and in the story, you hear more, like you learn more about her dad and her connection with her dad and the connection with music and her dad. It's really good. I love it. And more depth of her relationship with Peeta and her depth of relationship with Gale. Like, it's just, there's so much more depth. I guess that's my conclusion. Which, I mean, we all know that. All people who love to read and then see their favorite books be turned into movies, it just lacks that extra element. It's still a 5-star read for me. I did move on to Catching Fire. I read like 30 pages, I think, last night. So I just kind of like quickly started that. it has been a few days, quite a few days since I last checked in on reading the Hunger Games with you guys. I just didn't feel like picking up the camera. I have been reading more. I have actually not been getting through it as quick as I thought I would, but I've just been wanting to do other things besides reading a little bit, you know, kind of live life a little bit. So I've been mostly reading like at night right before bed, and then little snippets here and there. So even that, like, just not enough reading to like pull out the camera and like chat about it with you guys. But I have finally gotten a good chunk read right now. I think, let's see, I'm on page 300 exactly, which is very satisfying. This is my first time that I've ever gone back and forth between the physical book and my e-reader. So I've been really liking that. It's been really nice going. It's a little complicated going back and forth between the two because the page count is different and I can't figure out how to fix it, but it's been very nice to have. I am still like feeling different things than I did the first time around when I read them, which is so fun. I'm realizing I don't love how much the author portrays Peeta as kind of like a wimp. I didn't get that the first time around because I was just so in love with him completely from the get-go. I was like, oh my gosh, Peeta's the best thing to happen to the world. I loved him so much. But like rereading it, I'm like, he sounds like such a loser at times where like he can't run through the woods because he's like hurt and like everyone's always having to like take care of him. I was like, this poor dude, like she did him so dirty. I feel like, I mean, she like gives him good attributes, but when they're like in the games and in the thick of it and like really like fighting for their lives, she just made him sound lame sometimes. So that's kind of my one critique. Right now they're just getting into the arena for the quarter quell and things are just starting to happen. I never realized how little of the story in Catching Fire is actually them in the arena. Because like I said, I'm on page 300 and I don't even think there's 400 pages. Yeah, there's 391 pages, so I'm more than 3/4 of the way through. And the quarter quell is just starting. So I never realized how little of the story that is, that portion. There's just so much before it. Like, whereas the first book, it like so little happens, and then they're in the arena. And then this book, so much happens. And then just like for a short amount of time, they're in the arena. But so anyway, that's my little middle of the trilogy thought process. I am still feeling like I think I'm going to need to reread Of Songbirds and Snakes. But yeah, so I'm going to just kind of keep reading it. Probably going to finish it. Probably tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow for sure. Like, I've got so little left of it and it goes so quickly. So finishing this soon and then moving on to Mockingjay. Alright, so I figured I would bring you guys up to speed. I did finish Catching Fire. And so now I've started on Mockingjay. I'm about 10 pages in, so like barely started it. I did not have nearly as much time as I thought I would this weekend and like the last few days. Honestly, the last week, I really didn't have as much time to read as I thought I would. So Catching Fire took me a while to get through for how quick of a book it is, how quick of a read. So that took me a little bit. So now I'm gonna jump into reading. I've got a little bit of free time before my husband gets home, the baby wakes up, kind of a deal. So I'm gonna take like my little, I think it's like, if I'm lucky, I'll get an hour. So I'm going to take my hour, do some reading. I mean, there's not much to say. That's what's hard about rereading it is like, you know, I feel like everyone knows the story. Everyone knows what happens and all of that. So anyway, but I do have new thoughts. I do have new thoughts and new things that I'm feeling. But I feel like it would just make more sense to kind of wrap it all up at the end of the video. So that's what we'll do. But I'm going to jump into this. I did finish Mockingjay last night, and I was very surprised that I cried. I was not expecting to cry because I knew what happened. Like, I know the story, I know how it ends, but I think I've only read Mockingjay once. So getting the emotions and like the details and everything, it was so sad. So I cried. I tried to hold it together because my husband was sitting next to me and he kept looking over at me, and I didn't want to be like bawling over a story that I know. But I did still cry. And I have lots of thoughts. I have lots of thoughts on this series. It was so much fun rereading all of the books. I don't want to compare the books too much to the movies because they're very separate. They're very different things, very different experiences. And I feel like that's not fair to the book to keep comparing it to a movie when it's very, like, vastly different. Directors and producers can only help so much. How they portray a book, like, it's hard. It's not easy to adapt a book into a movie. So, that being said, I don't want to compare too much, but I do want to say real quick, my one thing is that I forgot the amount of details these stories have because the last thing I did with these stories was watch the movies. So you miss out on that. So all that being said, I want to try and put my thoughts about the movies aside and just focus solely on the book itself, the series itself. I am trying a little bit not to like spoil things, but I'm like, I feel like you can't not know the story of Hunger Games just because it's turned into such a big thing, kind of like with Twilight, where it's just like kind of everyone knows of it or what it's about. So kind of spoilers, but also not really because I feel like everyone knows it. I never realized when I read it the first go around how sad it was for Gale. I was so focused on Peeta. I loved Peeta so much. I still love Peeta so much. But seeing Gale and reading the books again and like getting his feelings, it is so hard. It's so sad. And he stayed behind. He took care of her family. And he was so sweet to do that. Of course, towards the end, like the war Gale, don't love that aspect of him. But my heart did go out to him. I also love how normal and real and human Katniss's reactions to things are. I feel like they are. Where it's not like other dystopian books where they're just like this bad tush. I say bad tush. This bad tush woman who like has no feeling and she just kind of fights and does whatever and she's just so strong, which I mean that's a great thing to have, but I love that she broke, you know, like it was terrible and it was bad, and in the end it broke her and it crushed her as it would anyone else in that situation. I just appreciated that, you know, and it was heartbreaking, that aspect too, like reading Mockingjay and seeing her fall apart. So sad, so incredibly sad. And then of course, you know, just the ending. I've seen a lot of book readers talk about like certain series and how they just like love that world and the characters, and I like understand that concept for sure, but it wasn't until rereading these that I'm like, I could read books about this world, I think forever. Like I would love for Suzanne Collins to write Effie's backstory or Haymitch's. I would love to read a book about Haymitch and what went down in his Hunger Games. Like everyone, Gale after the fact even, or like during it, or his just point of view. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. It would be so sad, but that would be amazing. Peeta's point of view of like what happened while he was in the Capitol. Like there's so Joanna's story. I would love to hear Joanna's story. Like so many people. And that's why I like just getting that backstory is so interesting. I just want like everyone's point of view. You know, Madge, oh my goodness, I would love Madge's point of view. Like I could just reread stories, prequels, sequels, spin-offs. Give me all of it. I want all of it because it'd just be amazing. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I think I have way more thoughts, but my mind's going a mile a minute right now. But that's how I'm feeling about it. I'm so, like I said, I'm so happy I reread them. It was such a great journey. These books just mean so much to me. Just everybody needs to read them. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion right now. Is like the whole world needs to read these books and love every minute of it because I do. So anyway, I've been rambling on for way too long about these books, but they're still 5-star reads for me. I did not change my opinion on that. They are still 5-star reads. But yeah, I might end up doing some more rereads this year than I was planning because I've got a whole shelf full of books that I have not read in a long time. So I might start just doing mostly rereads. We'll see though. We'll play that by ear. Reading is a feeling thing for me. If I'm feeling it, I read it. If I'm not, it has to wait because I'm a mood reader. That's how it is. But yeah, I enjoyed so much bringing you guys on this journey of falling back in love with my favorite books and having all the feels and all the thoughts and all the things. Just a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along as well for this reading vlog. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. So if you did enjoy it, give this video a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, more book videos, more lifestyle videos, vlogs, you know, all the things. And yeah, hopefully I will see you guys next week in my next video. Bye!
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.